The Couture 303 podcast with J Viper.
I am joined in the studio today by an old friend of mine and someone I can honestly say I've shared a stage or a DJ booth with more than anyone else. It's my good friend and fellow DJ, it's Silly G.
Hello.
How are you guys? You okay?
I'm good, yeah.
So just before we kick off with this, a little bit of a caveat. This episode was meant to happen a long time ago. In fact, I've got me notes here and it was meant to be episode 4, but there was some technical difficulties. If I'm honest, it was down to me. I didn't really know what I was fucking doing. And yeah, we fucked it up. So anyway, here we are, guys.
Back at it again.
Back once again like the Renegade Master. So first of all, thanks for doing this, guys. I appreciate your time on this glorious Sunday morning. I'm sure you've got nothing better to do than sit in my fucking studio.
No,
but
better.
As you always do, we're going to go right back to the start. So give us a little brief one of where and when were you born?
Born in Liverpool, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Grew up in like Walton ways up until I was about 10. Then we moved to Walton. Big difference.
From Walton to Walton?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Went up in the world.
Just a little bit. Wilton?
Yeah. So I went round there. I was in Rice Lane Junior School and then I moved on to Walton Out Lane School. So,
yeah. What's your family unit like? I know you had your mum, your dad, your sisters.
Got an older brother, younger sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Emma, isn't he?
Emma, that's the one, yeah.
Didn't I do was it 18th or 21st?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So what was school like for a young Silly G?
Just messing about, didn't get no qualifications. Just a crazy kid.
Were you one of the naughty boys, Gary?
Only a little bit.
So at what age did you start discovering music? So what was like your household like for music? Did your mum and dad listen to music or your older brother?
They were all into like more like rock music and my dad was into Queen and trying to think who else. I don't know, just bands and that really.
So when did you start discovering music as a bit of a passion? Like what age?
Well, I had a guitar when I was younger.
So there's the rock influences of your parents, that, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think I ended up selling it in around I don't know, it must have been in the early 90s and got a set of decks.
Yeah.
That was what I was more into, yeah.
So what decks were they, mate?
We had a coffin decks, so like old
fashioned. A full unit?
Yeah. I got that from Walton Boys Club.
Did you buy it or did you borrow it?
No, I bought it, but it was at the actual turntables were broke on it, so it was just the case and the mixer. I had to replace the turntables, but I got it for cheap, so
yeah.
Not too bad, isn't it? So
what year is this? Early 90s?
Yeah, I was going to like Walton Boys Club, so it must have been like 13, 14 maybe.
Yeah. So obviously what was your inspiration to get all the decks then? Obviously, 13 or 14-year-old lads don't generally go and buy a fucking coffin deck, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was just the music scene sort of changed and it was getting big, wasn't it? All the rave scene, so I was getting into that more and I think going to my nan's, my cousin would always have a ghetto blaster on and we'd blasting tunes in the garden and that stuff.
Yeah, what type was that? Like mixtapes from clubs and stuff like that?
Mixed tapes and stuff and a bit of break dancing and stuff and that.
Yeah.
Break beat stuff and that.
Yeah. So what would you say your early influences were for music? Obviously, your cousin was it you said?
Yeah.
So your cousin listened to all that kind of stuff. When did you kind of go, I like this and I want to have a little go? Because obviously, like I say, it's still quite a big step to go from listening to music in your cousin's car to buying decks. It's quite a big deal, I think.
Yeah. I'm not sure, I'm trying to think. Can't exactly think of the years.
Yeah. So what was the first? So was there any DJs at the time that kind of caught your attention?
It was obviously the Carl Cox and that because he was like big in the scene.
Yeah.
Ratty and Tango. Tango was bringing out some good tunes in the early days, all the early breakbeat stuff.
So when did you first start buying tunes yourself?
I'm trying to think of one of the first records I ever bought. I think it was Twice as Nice, Fantasia album.
Yeah.
And it was mixed, so it was gutted. so we just used to play it. I used to
fucking gutted.
Yeah, mix the first tune off with that. Was about it,
The first tune off each side.
Yeah.
So where did you used to buy your tunes from?
3 Beat and Groover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was your favourite?
3-beat probably.
Really, yeah?
Yeah.
See, I was having a conversation today with Robbie Edwards, and he was telling me that the manager of 3-beat approached him one day and asked him to come and join the shop. He said, because in his words, he went, there's a bit of an attitude problem in the shop. And I said to Robbie, I said, as a punter, I kind of got that vibe. And I was talking to my mate today after the podcast, and I told him what had been said, and he said the same. He said there was always like a bit of an air in there. Like you felt like, you know, if you weren't fucking Lee Butler or fucking Mark Simon, when you walked in 3-beat, you were like a bit of fucking, like, you got looked at like a minion, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck do you want, I mean? So it's mad that he addressed that, like. So, okay, so 3-beat, Groove, anywhere else?
Probably went on to HMV at the end after like 3-beat, and I started dying out, and Groove was closing down with Eddie mainly. Yeah,
3-beat was good for certain stuff. I mean, I used to, you know, obviously the more commercial stuff was always there. But you would get some little gem, and sometimes you'd go to like Groover and you'd get sold this record for 12 quid as a big hitter. You'd go to HMV, it'd be like fucking $1.99. You'd be fucking fuming. Yeah. Done loads of that. So when did you first start? Obviously you're buying tunes now. Do you remember your first gig? How did that come about? What was it like?
First proper gig was probably the Drome. Before that was just like little kids' nights and small parties and little events and stuff. Nothing big like.
So were you going to events yourself before then?
I used to go to the just like around town that maybe when I was younger. Before I even went to like was proper into hardcore, because I didn't really realise there was any hardcore clubs in Liverpool. Yeah. So I found out about the Dock. Yeah. The Dock was the main one, wasn't it? Clearly for hardcore, like. Yeah. The Drome kind of dabbled in a little bit, didn't it? But the Drome was more like European techno and stuff, and like the bouncy techno. But the Dock was definitely like full on hardcore, wasn't it? Yeah. Excuse me, just a little bit of Pepsi Max there. They are not a sponsor of my podcast, unfortunately. So do you remember your first gig? Possibly like in the Cavern. I did a kids' night in there. That'll probably be one of my first gigs. Like,
quite a big name for the first gig, like the Cavern, isn't it?
Yeah. Just like a kids' night someone put on. I can't even remember who put it on, to be honest. No. Yeah. Might have been something to do with Mick, Reckless. I'm not too sure. Like,
so how did you end up in the Drome? Because I think, if memory serves me correctly, and I'm sure other people out there listen to this, the first time I played in the Drome was when Princess Diana died. So it's got to be 25 years or close to it to today. You know, I think it was either August or September. I just met John Edge, who was obviously a mutual friend of ours. You've known John a lot longer than I have, and then I don't remember when and where I met you. Was it before the Drome, in the Drome? Do you remember?
I think it was before the Drome.
Yeah. Because I started knocking around with John. Obviously, he said me mate Silly's a DJ as well. And we'd do tapes with me. I'd do one side, you'd do another side, and Eddie and MC on both sides. Yeah. So how did you end up in the Zone?
I think it was through John. John sorted it, probably through you.
Probably, yeah. I mean, like I say, it's that long ago now, I can't really remember. Mm-hmm. So house parties, you used to do a lot of house parties, didn't you?
Yeah, loads.
Yeah. Any stories from them and go off? Any murder?
Quite a few, to be honest. I'm just trying to think of. We had one in Chilwell, the windows got smashed on the house, I think, because the music was so loud.
Shut up!
Glass all over the decks and that, like,
So the neighbours, you reckon?
I think so, yeah.
Fucking hell. I've done a couple of house parties with you as well. I remember someone put a picture up. I had this, like, fucking floppy bumhead.
Seeing that picture,
Yeah. I think you're on the decks and I'm standing waiting, and John's there as well. We were fucking kids, weren't we?
Yeah.
Was it your wet night DJ that as well, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Waversley or Picton Cricket Club, was it?
At a party for me mum or someone as well, I think.
Yeah, I remember DJing at a party one night, and it was like, it might have been your Emma's 18th, excuse me. And in typical 18th fashion, the room was like kind of split, wasn't it? You had loads of people who were like 18 to 24, and then a big jump to people who were like between 40 and 60 or 40 and 70. The mums, the nans, the aunties, the uncles and all that. And I remember like I was trying to please everyone, which is fucking nigh on impossible in a situation like that. And playing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of fucking Elvis, a little bit of fucking hardcore. I remember getting to the end and the room was like kind of split. And I said, I can play one more, because the fella would give me a nudge then. I said, listen, you're going to have to fucking turn it off now. Might be like fucking 1 o'clock or whatever. And I remember saying to everyone, right, listen, I'll put a line down the middle. Whoever makes the most amount of noise, I'll play a tune for you. So I went to the young ones first, went to the old ones, and it was a split. So I played Jive Bunny with a scratched over it. So what would you say your biggest gig so far is? Because you've been DJing for fucking years, haven't you? I mean, we're going back 25 years. You kind of started just before or the same time as me, but you've been consistent, haven't you? You've kept it going.
Yeah.
So give us a little some of the gigs you've done then.
Played in Amsterdam. That was quite a big gig, like.
Yeah. What was that? Who was that for?
Some event called Happy Mondays on Monday night in Amsterdam.
Yeah, you wouldn't get a Monday night in fucking town, would you?
It still goes now from like years on. It's still successful on a Monday night in Amsterdam.
Yeah. Fucking hell, what else? Because you, whereas I played like the hardcore, and then I branched off into like the hard house and the hard trance and hard style. You've always been like more the jungle side and the drum and bass and the jump up and stuff like that, haven't you?
Yeah.
So a lot of your gigs have been stuff like that, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the last you did? What was the one? What was the one you sent me? It wasn't Amsterdam, was it? Was it Croatia?
Croatia.
And it was fucking like thousands and thousands of people there.
Outlook Festival, Croatia.
Yeah. How did that come about?
That was through a friend, Andy Jones, one of the ones I started DJing with in like 1993.
Yeah.
He sort of like does jungle drum and bass, and he's still quite.
Is he still going, Andy? Yeah.
He's still getting quite a few gigs.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Threw in with the 100th Monkey.
They've been going for a while as well, haven't they?
Yeah. So he runs that night, 100th Monkey. So,
does he run that? Yeah.
So he gets
there you go.
A lot of gigs through that. With booking people, and then people will book him. So
yeah,
he does all right.
Yeah, and you're resident of Back to the Dock as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Happy days. How'd that come about?
Probably through John as well.
Yeah.
John and Lee.
Yeah. So have you played it? You haven't played it all of them, but you played it fucking pretty much, haven't you?
Pretty much most of them.
Yeah.
I think the first couple I didn't play at them.
Yeah. So some of the DJs you've warmed up for or played after or whatever or bumped into in there. Don't be shy, guys. Drop some names.
So many now. I've met the man in there. I played in between Stu Allen and Seduction. That was a good night.
That's a fucking sandwich, that night.
Yeah. That was one of my best nights there.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, like, yeah.
Do you feel like you're up your game more when you're up against people like that?
Yeah, a bit, yeah. I sort of had to listen to Stu Allen's set, though, to make sure I didn't play all the same things.
That's the thing with old school as well, isn't it? Is you are limited.
Yeah.
You know, you might have to go in there with a set in mind. You think, I'll start off with Now Is the Time and then I'll play fucking Yeehaw. And then there's last two tunes. You're like, shit.
Watch out for it.
So what have you got coming up then?
It's pretty quiet at the moment. One gig was cancelled, which was meant to be this Wednesday coming up, which would have been drum and bass. But I think with all the prices and everything going up, electric, gas, people aren't tending to go out on a Wednesday at the moment.
Exactly,
so,
yeah.
But hopefully it'll come around again soon.
Yeah. So you dabble in a bit of music production as well, don't you guys?
Little bits, yeah.
How did that come about? When did you first start with that?
We had a mess about like 20 years ago in Cubase, but I just couldn't get my head around Cubase.
Yeah, it's very, very in depth. And this is, I mean, you're talking now before the internet and stuff like that. So, you know, you go on YouTube now, you can learn anything, you know, and I mean, within any little parameter, if you want to learn how to fucking, you know, how to compress a snare, you know, it's all there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you went from Cubase, what was after that?
Fruity Loops, got onto Fruity Loops because there seems to be a lot more videos on how to do stuff on Fruity Loops. You still look now from Cubase and it's limited.
Yeah.
It's like there'll be one little video and it's a book a course to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
It's not as many people showing you how to do it, so just tended to stick with Fruity Loops.
And did you use YouTube for your tutorials and stuff like that?
Yeah, YouTube, yeah.
So how many I mean, some people, I've got a mate there who he'll start loads of tunes and he never finishes them. Are you a finisher? Do you finish tunes?
No. It's literally called Fruity Loops because all I do is make loops.
So you must have finished tracks though, sure.
Yeah, I've got finished tracks, like, yeah.
How many do you reckon you've done?
I don't know, it's hard to say because there's hardcore ones, there's jungle ones, there's drum and bass, there's a bit of bounce, so there's probably a couple of each different ones really, yeah.
Yeah. Happy days. So no upcoming gigs, you got not much of them on at the moment then, no?
Got one at Back to the Dock on the 5th of November.
Okay.
That's the only one for now, I think.
Yeah, 5th of November. Get that in your diary, guys. Silly J, Back to the Dock. Okay, so a question for you now. Little test you now. If I give you, hypothetically, £1 million, right, and you could put on an event, who would you book? And across any genre whatsoever.
It's a tough one. So many different genres, so I could pick so many different DJs. But
Yeah. Off the top of your head, what would you go towards, like, music style?
if I was going to go for hardcore, probably DJ Brisk, because he's in Australia, so
Yeah.
it costs nearly $1 million. Old school stuff like Top Buzz, Ratty, like a bit of DJ Psy as well.
Yeah.
Bit of hype and that.
Yeah.
Just all the scratching ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many, isn't there?
Would you put yourself on? Who would you put yourself in between?
That depends on what music I'm going to play, really, doesn't it? I'd love to go back to back with Brisk.
Yeah.
On a vinyl set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still play vinyl yourself now, do you?
I do, yeah.
So what's your setup at home now, guys?
CDJs, 1210s, and I've got the Serato for the vinyl as well. So a bit of everything, really.
Yeah. How do you find the transition between vinyl and digital?
It's easy for me, really.
It's better, isn't it? It is better in so many aspects. I mean, you look at what you can do now with two decks and a mixer digitally, and you go back 20 years. I mean, when I first started as a DJ and I had Newmark mixers, some of them didn't even have a mid. It was literally like bass, treble, and that was it. Some didn't even have a gain. So when they didn't have a gain, if anyone, there's probably people listening to this going, what? When you didn't have a gain, you couldn't even chop the channels, could you?
No.
You had to. I remember I've played in clubs where they've had fucking sellotape on the mixer to stop you going up past a certain level. Fucking madness, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the drone, we played the drone together. So do you remember? Do you remember when we were in the drone and it got raided?
I do, yeah. I remember that.
What's your memories of that, guys?
So I was DJ at the time. I just noticed like a couple of people in yellow jackets coming in, just didn't think nothing of it, carried on DJing, and it was just some crazy Birkenhead ravers in the yellow jackets sort of thing. But I just remember them jumping up on the stage and putting his hand on the mixer, and I was looking at him going,
Who were you?
Yeah.
DJ PC.
Yeah.
I remember I was, so where the stage was, so your face out on the stage, I was on the left where they always used to stand. And I was, like you said then, I just seen this like sea of yellow come in. And I seen him like putting the bouncers up against the wall. I remember him getting on the stage, grabbing the mic, I think it might have been off John. And he told you to turn the music off, and he went, "This is a police, drugs and licensing raid. Please stay where you are." And I was like, fucking hell, we all got fucking searched. Everyone got through out apart from us, remember?
Yeah.
And I remember there was a certain DJ, I won't name his names, but you know what I mean.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. And he was stood next to me. And obviously the police were interviewing us all. I don't know why they were interviewing us, just because we fucking worked there. But everyone else got through out and we were inside. Everyone else was outside. And he turned and looked at me. And he had this like a bit of look on his face, and he opened his mouth. And there was must have been about 10 crushed up fucking ecstasy tablets on his tongue. Oh my God, fucking heavy that, like. Right, so guys, we're going to do some quick fire questions now, but we're going to do a bit of a best of. So here we go. DJ Silly G, I will accept your first answer and your first answer only. So from the first sheet, because I've got all my quick fire notes on a sheet of paper. I'm old school. Off the first sheet, I'm going to start from the top. Ice cream or custard?
Custard.
Gremlins or Ghostbusters?
Gremlins.
Last movie you seen in the cinema?
It's been a long time since I've been. I can't
Really,
think. Yeah.
He-Man or Thundercats?
He-Man.
I'm the masters of the universe. Fanta or Tango?
Fanta.
Van Damme or Jackie Chan?
Van Damme.
Robocop or Terminator?
Robocop.
Sonic or Mario?
Mario.
Dairy Milk or Galaxy?
Dairy Milk.
An early set or a late set?
Early set.
Snickers or the Star Bar?
Snickers.
On a bacon barm, red sauce or brown sauce?
Brown sauce.
How dare you? Night Rider or Airwolf?
Night Rider.
Lager or cider?
Lager.
We're going deep now. We've got nothing. This is the longest quick-fire question we've ever done. The Waltzers or the Big Dipper?
Waltzers.
Vinyl or digital?
Vinyl.
If you're on death row, what would be your last meal? And it can't be a cyanide tablet.
Beef and cashew nut with fried rice.
Nice. Nigel Benn or Chris Eubank?
Nigel Benn.
If you could go and see anyone in concert, alive or dead, who would it be?
Bob Marley.
Brandy or whiskey?
Brandy.
If you could have dinner with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be? Bob Marley after the concert.
Yeah.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Fantastic, guys. Right, listen, we're gonna wrap this up now. So, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say hello to? Anyone? Any mentions?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
No. So your next gig is Back to the Dock, November the 5th.
Yeah, that's
Is
right.
that in North Shore Troubadour?
Yeah, it's a free night as well. So
Free night. Okay. So no tickets needed.
You still need to.
Okay.
free
Tickets on Skiddle.
Skiddle.
Yeah, tickets on Skiddle, November the 5th, Back to the Dock, DJ Silly G. Thanks for doing this, mate.
The Couture 303 podcast with J Viper.